Hello, my Banda crew, and welcome back to the N.Sane Bandicoot PodCrash. We are on Season 2, Episode 5, and today's topic of discussion is a potential Crash Bandicoot movie. Our fan casts, our ideas, and what have you. As always, you have me, HyperTom-oose, or as people call me, HyperTom-oose, HyperTom-oose. There's a whole bunch of things that people call me, but it is HyperTom-oose. And my co-host,
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's
So
Beebs.
Trademark. So Beebs, we're discussing Crash Bandicoot movie, how you would handle it, where you would go with it, who you would cast in it, etc., etc. So right off the bat, how close to actual story lore would you set it? Would you try and make it a 1-for-1, or would you try and do like Sonic style, where you're introducing live action and CGI together and just kind of like picking and choosing story beats and mushing it in? Off to a great start.
Yeah, my heart says animated, and you keep it somewhat true to form. Like, you wouldn't go crazy nuts with the character designs and all that shit, but you know, CG animated, and you just kind of do what I would do. Is you would do a fucking like a hero's journey where you Crash Bandicoot and his friend, the Tiki Mask, Aku Aku, go on a fucking journey across this archipelago, making their way to the castle to save. Here's the hot take: Tawna's out. I don't want her in the fucking movie. No, I was gonna say you go to. Okay, here it's some kind of journey movie through the islands, which as we all know, are crazy diverse in location. It's a mix of the Crash 1 and Crash 2 plots. Crash is on his way to the castle to save Coco, not Tawna. Okay. Little does he know, Coco has already escaped, much like she does in the real games, and she's on her way to him because she thinks he fucking died because he fell out a window that was very high up, as we know. So they meet in the middle at about 2/3 of the way through the movie. But through the movie, you're seeing both perspectives. And 2/3 of the way through is when they meet up. And Crash is like, I was trying to save you. And Coco's like, I was looking for you. And then she tells Crash all about Cortex's evil mind control plot and how he's got a new general to replace him after he was a failure, and that's Crunch. And
so
Crunch
you would bring Crunch into it, right in there.
Just cram the first 5 games right the fuck together. Just fucking cram them up together. And that's the fucking climax is like Cortex with his fucking Titan army. First 6 games, cram them right together. His Titan army with Crunch as the general, getting ready to launch their assault on the world. And Crash, his Tiki Mask, and his fucking little sister use their techno know-how to fucking beat Cortex by getting his sidekick Nitrous Brio to turn on him. And it's fucking, and they form a little group, and that's how they defeat the Titan army and
Jesus
Crunch
Christ.
Bandicoot. And the fucking ending is Cortex gets fucking. Cortex disappears.
I can't take it. Are you being serious with all of this?
I'm 100% fucking serious.
So you're gonna cram every single game into one movie, 1 hour and 20-minute movie.
Well, you don't have to fucking do the whole plot of every game. It's just the fucking high lines of the games. Crash fucking gets thrown out of the castle after Cortex fails to make him his general. He's making the mutant army, which you just fucking the Titan army and the mutant army are already the same fucking plot, so put them together. Fucking Coco escapes. You don't need Tawna because you like that. You fucking get rid of Tawna, put Coco in her role. Don't make her the girlfriend. That'd be fucking weird. You fucking weirdo. I didn't say that. You did. But the fucking and then you use the same little through lines. Embryo turns on Cortex. That's how you explain Crash and Coco being able to overcome all this shit. The fucking Titan army, you get your replacement general with Crunch. You get that plot line, and you don't have to fucking like flesh all those details out like a full fucking game plot because there's nothing saying you have to do. Oh, Crunch is in this, so we have to do all of Walk. No, fuck the elementals. They're not in this. They're not like fuck Crash 3. Fuck that. Bump that. Like you just take the fucking bits and pieces. You make it one cohesive singular narrative like that, and then you don't have to rely on it doing well to do other shit. If it does do well, you don't have to go, oh well, now we got to do the Crash 2 movie. Now we got to do the Crash 3 because like people are expecting Sonic 3 has to be the Sonic Adventure 2 movie because Shadow's in it. And I'm like, to some extent, but they're not doing it exact. So that's how I would do it. You would just put little pieces of all the big popular Crash narratives together. You make one cohesive thing out of them. And then in the fucking post credits, Uka Uka.
Damn. Well, you did like the complete opposite of what I would do. So now I'm going to explain to you what I would do. So I would have the game start with
the game.
The opening game. I would have the movie start with Crash as an unevolved Bandicoot. And he'd be like running around eating a Wumpa fruit and shit. And then one of the lab assistants would be like chasing him, and you're like experiencing the movie. Crash is running through the woods trying to get away from this lab assistant who you don't see. He's like in the shadows. And then he grabs Crash, and then it's like Crash Bandicoot, bum bum bum, and then it shows Crash getting experimented on, and it shows Coco also there. Then it shows Crash doing, it does like a little montagey thing, and it shows Crash doing the flashback tapes kind of thing. And then it shows Crash, the opening, where he jumps out the window. Uh-oh, and he falls down. And the story of this movie, you combined movie, or game 1 and 2, I would just have
and 4 and 5 and 6.
Well, no. So I would have my first movie would be, essentially it would be Crash 1 with bits of Crash 2 in it. I would want to save Crash 3 for a sequel. You had Uka Uka show up as your post-credit scene, which kind of makes it Crash 3-ish. But I would have, like, say, the whole mutant and mind control plot would be combined. He wouldn't have the Evolve Array. He would just have one device that did both. And for whatever reason, it doesn't work on Bandicoots. That would be the hiccup in his plan. So you'd have Crash. He'd wash up on shore, and he'd go into a village, and you'd have Papu Papu, and he would have Aku Aku imprisoned, and he was using Aku Aku's magic through some means. He was siphoning it into his staff, and he was an evil dictator. And then Crash saves Aku Aku, and he becomes the talking head for the movie, because I don't want Crash to have a voice. I think that'd be lame. And Crash would defeat Papu Papu, and he would keep on going. And the through line through this movie would be that Cortex wants Crash back because Crash has a MacGuffin in his pocket. I don't know what he took or why he has it, but he has a MacGuffin. So Cortex sent out
Blackheart power gem.
Yes, something. So Cortex sent Pinstripe out to get him, and Pinstripe's kind of like stalking Crash through the movie, showing up every now and then, and Crash and Aku Aku get away. So you got Papu Papu, you got Pinstripe, Cortex, Crash, Coco, and then you'll see Ripperoo and Koala Kong in like the background or something, but they're not really gonna have a fight with them. And the game will. I keep saying the game. The movie will finish with Crash getting to Cortex's castle, and Cortex getting ready to launch. Instead of there being the space station, he'll have a satellite that's going to go shoot up into space and mind control and mutate all these animals. And Crash will have to battle Cortex. And right when he thinks he beat Cortex will he'll hit a button and then Tiny will come out. Tiny will be the newest experiment, and he'll be like, a big monstrous guy. He'll be the first of the movie that we see that's actually like intimidating. And the movie ends with Crash defeating Cortex and Tiny, and Embryo backstabbing Cortex, sabotaging the satellite, and helping Crash escape. And then the post-credit scenes will be Cortex in the rubble of the exploded castle / satellite. And because of the explosion, Uka Uka was set free. And that would be my post-credit scene. So what'd you think?
You went more like this is not the right word for it. I keep trying to say art house. If you went more like epic scale, I went more like blockbuster scale, where it's like, and I want to be clear, I am 100% serious. That is exactly what I would do. I like, you have the dual Crash and Coco plots that converge at the end with the Titan Army and Crunch and the shit. Like, I think you went more like fantastical. Like, you went more like a
end of the world.
Not even that. I'm just talking like tonally. When you're telling yours in my head, I see like Renaissance Disney kind of like vibe.
That when the whole intro, I was kind of feeling that with the unevolved Crash.
Yeah, but like in my head, it's like very much a summer blockbuster kind of thing, where it's like big colorful animation, like
I understand what really, you're saying.
Yeah, but like, so like we basically told similar plots that converge a lot of the same points. It's just that mine like very intentionally covers like the whole series at once, because I am not a pessimist, but I'm the kind of person who's like, I want to get the cool shit in there,
not have to rely on a sequel.
Yeah, but you don't want to overcrowd it, because then you get fucking Spider-Man 3, where it's like I don't want to do that. But like, I like some of the stuff that you were saying, like, is in my version. It's just I like
glossed over it.
Don't show it in as much detail as it sounds like you would, which I think yours is more, like I said, it's paced more like a Renaissance Disney kind of thing, where it's like,
well, I wanted to make a point that Aku Aku was kidnapped and Crash saved him, because I didn't like the whole Aku Aku just showing up in the games. Like, I wanted them to have like a reason to be buddies.
Yeah, it's like in my head canon ass version of this, like it kind of like stuff like that like happens and goes without, like I hate to say goes without saying because like I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that like you put too much thought into it or whatever, but like you would like in mine like he wouldn't just be like, oh, Crash washes up on the beach and the mask is there and he's like, hey, what's up?
Like in the game.
Yeah, like he'd like Crash would fall off the fucking thing like on the way down. He like breaks a fucking piece of temple off before he falls in the water and like it fucking frees him like he frees Lonnie Loli. Like he like accidentally does it. Like he's something important, but he's not just like there. Like he wasn't just hanging out like, oh shit. That's the guy that I'll help beat the bad guy that I'm doing nothing about right now.
Yeah.
Like that's what's funny to me is he's like, I'm the protector. Like in the fucking manuals and shit, it's like he's the protector of the island. That's why he teams up with Crash to beat Cortex. I'm like, there wasn't nobody else around that he could have. Like he couldn't have gone to Papu Papu and be like, hey, like give me a couple of your dudes.
We gotta go fix some stuff.
Like I am your god, so you should maybe listen to me. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah. He was just
like,
waiting around for Crash to show up and exist.
Kind of doing a shit ass job. Like, so like to me, like yeah, you reframe him a little bit, but like
you didn't like the idea of Pinstripe being in the shadows, lurking around, following Crash.
No, I think that's good. I think it's illustrative of like our differing visions on how to converge all the plot points. Because I feel like yours is more like a slower paced adventure thing, and mine is still an adventure, but it's like two going on at the same time that come together into one, and like one of the characters doesn't even know what he's actually trying to get done until like it falls in his lap, and like trust me, I know from the way I described it that it could be very quickly made into a mess, but it's in my head it's mapped out in a correct way where like, and let me just say, you're gonna want a 2-hour runtime for this. You wouldn't try to cram this in 80 minutes.
Okay.
But like it's paced up and like across the movie you're seeing Cortex like build his plot to get like it wouldn't play out the way I said it where like suddenly the Titan army appears. Like no, you know about it the whole movie. It's just that Crash is kind of like I'm just going to get my sister. And like, Coco's like I gotta warn Crash and I gotta see if he's even alive. He's dead probably. And like you have like in my version I don't think Cortex even gives a shit about
the Crash escaped.
He's like all right, bring out the next guy. Because like you gotta think,
oh, that fucking thing jumped out the window. Oh well.
You gotta think like in Crash 1 that's what he does. Like it's kind of like this retroactive fan headcanon like, oh, he really wanted Crash. No, he wanted a Bandicoot. The second Crash was out that window, he's like, all right, bring me Tawna. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole reason Crash is going back, because he's like he doesn't want Tawna to get put through the vortex and yada yada. And like we know now that he was also going to get Coco, or like presumably, because we don't see her at the end of Crash 1. But like I'd like to think that Crash Bandicoot wasn't like, I mean,
I'm gonna go get my boo, but I don't care about my sister.
Hey Crash, what about Coco? Man, she's adopted. Like he's just a fucking dick. Like he's an asshole. But like, so like you know, in mine he's like.
Would you have him have a voice, or would you use Aku Aku as his voice?
Predominantly Aku, but he would like. I wouldn't have him mute, but I wouldn't have him talkative. Like he's not like, hey, it's me. I'm Crash Bandicoot. Like with fucking Roger Craig Smith voice, but like he would be communicative. Let's say it that way. Like I would like. He can say words every once in a while. Like that's already canon.
Pancakes.
He just don't. Like he's like Aku's like.
I would like that every time Crash was about to speak, Aku Aku would just cut him off.
You either do something like that, or you have him be like, "Hey, are you all right? You fell off the fucking mountain and cracked your face on the fucking ground, and you almost drowned. And I'm a magic mask." And then Crash is just like, "Gotta get back to my sister." And he's just like, he's like focused on it, right? Like I would do something like that. I Worst case scenario, he talks, but you try really hard not to make him Sonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll just get Chris
Like,
Pratt to do him.
I was gonna do that joke when we got to the fucking casting.
Sorry, didn't mean to steal your thunder. But no, that casting, I don't know if you have the same beliefs as me, but as far as animated stuff, I tend to like actual voice actors over actors. Like, don't get me wrong, Jack Black as Bowser is awesome, but
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen that yet. Still, even though I fucking have Peacock and it's been on there for like 8 months.
like as far as voice actors go, like Billy West, I think he would be good in almost any of the characters in the movie. Whereas people will be like, "Oh yeah, let's get Seth Rogen to be Crash Bandicoot."
If I was gonna go voice actor route, I would just get Jess or Scott and be like, just do the voice you already do, but like not babbly. Like just fucking.
So just for an animated movie, just get the video game cast and just
Yeah,
let them
because in
go.
my ideal world, not the whole video game cast. I'm just talking about Crash. Like in an ideal world, yes, keep the quote unquote real voices. But the fucking fact of the matter is, Activision especially switches the voices around pretty much willy nilly at this point.
Yeah.
So like, who do you get? But like, in terms of Crash, I would say get them because Jess especially still is a pretty big name either way. Already does movie work anyways, and I wouldn't have Crash talk enough to justify going out and getting like fucking Chris Pratt or whatever, right? Now Coco and Cortex and all of them, they can need. I would fucking fight to have Cortex stay Lex if it was animated, but I have a feeling that studios wouldn't get behind it, even though he does plenty of fucking cinematic voice acting.
Okay, well then let's let's say you had to pick actors that you think they would pick. Like not your this isn't your fan picks. This is like, "Oh, we're Hollywood. We want to pick famous people to get people's butts in the seats." And who would you equate for each character? Let's just say Crash, Coco, Cortex, and Crunch.
Coco,
Coco.
you'd probably. God, see, I don't know famous people right now. Coco, Zendaya as Coco.
And Tom Holland as Crash Bandicoot.
God. See, if we're just talking like studio perspective, then yes, Zendaya as Coco. But fucking, I don't know, like Aku Aku, they would. It depends on the tone you went with Aku. If you're going like, I would go Titans Aku in terms of tone. Like, I don't think he should be all like, children, come save the world with me, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a guy that doesn't talk and a guy who just says shit like that, I ain't watching it. So like, I need it to be Titans Aku. So like,
Crash,
little
Coco.
fucking. This is if we're just talking like popular names.
Jack Black as everyone.
No. Well, if you're putting Jack Black in as Aku Aku, you're already fucking up. And you're getting in trouble. And you're getting in trouble rightfully. But Aku Aku, and I'm basing this entirely on his performance in Twisted Metal. Anthony Mackie is Aku Aku.
Anthony. I was like Twisted Metal. Anthony, you're talking about the show.
Yeah, I'm talking about the show. I just want him to fucking do Titan's Aku, and I want him to just fucking use his real voice and just talk shit the whole fucking movie. He's like Crash is like, that's Cortex, and Aku Aku's just like, who the like he wouldn't swear, but he's like, who the hell is this short asshole? And it's just Anthony Mackie doing his regular voice.
Oh my goodness. So
and it fits because by the time like the Greg Eagles Aku was always like the fucking just like kind of an asshole, like kind of snarky. Like so like if you gotta have a celebrity, I think he would like, and you're only using people that studios are super high on right now. Him. I just don't know a lot of fucking celebrities, period. I'll be real with you.
Well, I would definitely want Kevin Hart in there as someone. Kevin Hart as Ripperoo.
You just completely rewrite Ripperoo as a completely different guy, so you can put Kevin Hart in there.
No. Kevin Hart would just make crazy noises.
That is an egregious misuse of budget. He is not cheap.
You need to have Kevin Hart and The Rock going through a jungle. Well, that would be if it was a live action CGI hybrid. We would need Kevin Hart and The Rock to hang out with Crash on the island. Like, The Rock would be a reporter, and he would show up, and Kevin Hart would be there trying to...
So they're the fucking unrelated human characters that get a B plot?
Yeah. So, reporter... The Rock's a reporter going to, like, talk about all of the toxic waste that Cortex is pumping into the ocean, and Kevin Hart's there trying to buy some property because he wants a mansion out there, and then Crash bumps into Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart helps him escape the house, the big mansion, and then Cortex chases after Kevin Hart, and then The Rock shows up, and then there's a big adventure. That's what Hollywood would want to do.
And there's like a scene 2/3 of the way through that has nothing to do with anything, but what the fuck is his name? Why can't I remember his fucking name all of a sudden? He's the fucking dude in Caddyshack and Ghostbusters and shit.
Bill Murray?
Yes, Bill Murray's there for no fucking reason.
Sure.
And when he fucking comes in through the door, they like do that shit where they fucking like nobody talks for 5 seconds for no reason, just because they know the crowd in the theaters. And they're like, "Yay!"
Bill Murray.
And I'm sitting there like, I fuck. Is really, and I'm just like, and then at the end.
No, wait. Before you say the end, at one point, Crash is running towards the camera, and he's being chased by Dwayne Johnson. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it? Get it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And Chris Pratt, Crash, looks dead in the fucking camera and goes, "This is like that time I got chased by that boulder."
And then he goes, "You know, a boulder's a big rock."
I don't know anything about this guy, but he looks pretty rocky. Anyways, I was Star.
Having said all that and crapped all over a live action Crash Bandicoot, I actually do enjoy the live action Sonics.
No, they're good.
And I
I
watched
just
the
like.
Knuckles series. It was okay.
I haven't watched that yet. I still want to, so don't tell me anything about it. But like, I just think that like that was a perfect storm of them listening to people fucking tell them to fuck off with the first one, and then really, really, really course correcting for the second one. And the third one is very obviously like, all right, we're just gonna do whatever you guys say online.
Right.
But
Because
I
Ugly Sonic, man.
let me just be blunt. It depends on who on the Microsoft Activision side was in charge of like paying attention. Because if they just license it, and they're like, do whatever you want, and there's no brand officer like watching, they'll just fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like if they do it live action, they'll just fuck it up. But like if you have somebody who gives a shit, and I'm just saying, I am available as an independent contractor to take on external projects. But I don't trust that they wouldn't fuck it up. I think if you didn't fuck it up, I think it would be great and it would be good for building the brand. But I don't trust that they would listen as hard as the Sonic people did.
Yeah.
Um, but who knows?
Also, but you said building the brand. If you like compiled all of the games into one movie, where would you go from there? They'd want to do like more
The other fucking
movies.
the other here's all right. First of all, the other fucking games, because there's like 25 of them.
Yeah, but how
You
much
can
of a
pull
story
something
can
from.
you make off of like Crash Team Racing?
I reckon you can make a pretty good story out of it, considering there have been like 5 million movies about races.
There's 10 Fast and the Furiouses.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to try very hard. Second of all, here's a wild idea: make something the fuck up. You have characters like it's like it's like the fucking MCU. They don't use the comics exactly. They make some shit up sometimes. They've told every story there is to tell in the fucking comics. Like they can just make some shit up. Like you got the Crash characters, just fucking have them do some shit. Like I don't know. Like half the fucking Sonic movies are made up shit. It has nothing to do with fucking game story.
Yeah.
Like it kind of loosely follows Sonic 1 into Sonic 2 and 3 and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And 3 is obviously going to be Adventure and Adventure 2. But, like, just because my fucking animated one fucking takes from a lot of Crash games, first of all, doesn't mean that it's telling the whole stories of those games. Like, I took Crunch out of Walk and stuck him in as the general instead of Tawna. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a movie about the fucking elementals powering up some other mutant.
Yeah,
Like
fair.
you can go lots of places with it. And if you can't, make some shit up because it like that's what they're gonna have to do with games going forward, unless they plan on remaking every fucking one.
I
Which
mean, like
I'm gonna be
there's
blunt,
so
God
many
willing, they don't do that.
there's so many characters to pull from. Like hell, even just Crash Nitro Kart, how you have the aliens,
Yeah,
and then you
like there's a
have
lot of
CTTR, you have them. Then Twin Sanity, you have the 10th dimension. They could have a whole movie about getting stuck in a different dimension.
like there's a lot of people who will tell you like I don't think Crash works as a movie. I think it should be a series and it should be really short episodes. And I'm like, I feel like people just got like poison pilled by the idea that Crash is Looney Tunes, and they're like, I don't think it works in long narrative format. And I'm like, it has been for fucking 20 years. Like
What you're
all the
saying,
Crash
like
games
that
are
that canceled Crash show, how it was going to be like,
like episodic and like
yeah,
nothing flows episode to episode. It's just all self-contained episodes, and I'm like,
You can't see me, but I'm shaking my head. No, I would not like that.
like
I mean,
I
if that's what we
frankly,
got, I would watch it.
I
But
would take a Crash show, but I would prefer something that has like some through line because like
yeah,
people, it's like people who play Sonic games. They're like, I like goofy, lighthearted Sonic games. I'm like, even the fucking Genesis games are shown in anime with some level of edginess to them. They have always been that tone. There's only really a handful of Sonic games that are out and out goofy. So like I don't get where the idea that those games are like super bright, colorful, cartoony, yada yada came from because like oh all the levels are made out of checkerboard textures and green grass and blue skies and I'm like but the story is a guy stealing animals and stuffing them in robots.
using them as batteries.
And Sonic 1 gets grim at the end. Like it's pretty dark looking. And like I'm just like I'm not saying that it never does goofy, that it never does cartoony, but what I am saying is that like along the same lines, people are like of this idea that oh Crash games don't do stories like that. I'm like, bullshit. The fucking first three, the most popular ones, flow into each other literally like cliffhangery.
Yeah,
Like they not even cliffhanger. It's not like, oh, this happened. What will happen next? It literally like they literally start from the exact moment the last one ends. Like you fucking knock Cortex off the blimp and leave, and then Crash 2 opens with him falling off the fucking blimp.
right.
Crash 3 opens with the blimp crashing into the fucking temple and freeing Uka Uka. Like, they do that. Like, that was from the beginning. So, like, when people are like, oh, they're all self contained and they don't affect each other, I'm like, eat a dick. So, like you can just say, I would prefer if they did a Crash show instead of a movie, and I would prefer if it was episodic, and I would be fine with that. But like, I just don't like when people are like, "Oh, it doesn't work when they do it like that," because they've done it that way the whole time.
Yeah,
Like it was so like, and like the most recent Crash game with 5 million units sold was a 12-hour game that had a story that flowed through the whole thing, like, and surprise, it opens connected to the game before it.
yes.
Like that, like it's part of Crash's identity that the shit that happens in one matters in the fucking other ones. Like,
Dude, even as far as after Twinsanity, Tag Team Racing's was supposed to be taking place inside of Crash's head. I read that somewhere
I don't remember that, but it wouldn't shock me.
when
The fucking
it was called Crash Clash
Crash
Racing.
Clash Racing,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know, man. It just like it just feels like people will like take something they like about a series, and then they'll just be like, "No, this is what the series is supposed to be." This is what I'm like. No, it's what you like about the series. You can say that you would prefer it if it were more like that all the time. It doesn't mean that was the intent, right? And
Yeah.
like, I fucking wouldn't. It's like you said, if we got a Crash series that was just fucking 11-minute episodes or whatever, it's just goofy shit
Like if
happening.
we got how they have the Ape Escape shorts.
If we got them, I would take them happily.
Yeah.
It's just not my preference, and like I don't think that like there's an argument to be made that like that's the only way Crash works because I think it's I don't even think it's just me being up my own ass about preference like I'm accusing everybody else of being. Like I'm trying really hard to like be objective here, but like Crash games have always had connective tissue story wise between them, like, and if not always with the one that came before it, like with each other. Like
Yeah.
The Game Boy Advance games flow together. The fucking
Wrath of
racing games,
Cortex into Twinsanity.
like Nitro Kart, is a sequel to Crash Team Racing, even though there are other stories in between it. Like
Yeah.
they've just always done that with Crash. So like I don't see the problem with having a longer connected narrative because they've always had a longer connected narrative. So like,
Yeah.
but that's just rambling. So like the fucking, but yeah, it's like I said, like that's the animated movie I would do. I don't even really fucking want to talk about a live action one seriously, because like I think I would do something similar, just with people and like live action. I would just
Have your
I don't
same story, but not have to like put in random ass characters or random ass people for no reason. Like that whole big 10-minute thing of us just making shit up. That was not serious. So
no, but like, and I say that as somebody who doesn't really mind like the human B plots in the Sonic movies. Like people like to the ends of the earth, you hear people be like, "I hated the wedding stuff. It's so fucking bad." I'm like, it was a little long in the tooth. I didn't think it killed the movie, and I didn't fucking like feel the need to go online and like threaten to kill them or anything. I don't think it was that bad, and I think like Sonic 2 was still like such an improvement over Sonic 1, even though I liked Sonic 1. That like I was like, there's so much to be happy about with them course correcting that like I can't be fucked to be mad about the stuff that they still got wrong, quote unquote.
yeah,
So like I don't mind if Crash follows that exact like plan, like that exact route. I just don't really have ideas for it myself, which is kind of like a good thing because I'm like, if you asked me to make a Sonic movie, I probably wouldn't have made that Sonic movie, right? But like, I liked that Sonic movie. Like, I'm just kind of the opinion that like, as long as you don't fucking like horrifically go off the rails, like you honor it to some degree, I'm going to like it on some level just because I like new Crash things. Like, I think I think people who like, to me, that's what makes stuff work long term, is
just
if you're allowed to keep building on it and like
have a variety.
having, because like I like new shit and I also like shit to keep going, because if it makes money and people like making it and people like going and seeing it or playing it, then why would you fucking stop just because some fucking dickhead on the internet is like, I wish they'd focus more on new IP. I'm like, there are new IP constantly, and that's great. I like new things, but like I hate the idea that sequels and new IP have to come at the expense of each other. And I'm like, they really don't. Like, new shit comes out all the time. You fuckers don't go watch it and make sequels to it.
Right.
Like, like
Like that
that.
new
Like, I like both, but like that's what people get irritated with. Oh, is it stagnant? Like, oh, it's another fucking Crash game. And I'm like, well, if it's good, who gives a shit?
yeah.
But like, to that degree, like if there was a Crash movie and it like even in the one I fucking came up with, the idea I came up with for an animated one, it's not exactly the story of the game, but like good. Like I wouldn't like I'm glad it would be a new thing separate, like, because if it does try to fucking do the game A to B, everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's just the game story with nothing new. And the people who aren't like that are going to be like, they didn't do it right.
No, they missed
So like
this and they skipped
so
that.
like so like I would rather them just, when it comes to adaptations, I prefer that they kind of do their own version of it. It's like the fucking shitty Netflix Death Note movie. Like I don't remember any of it, but like I when
Oh,
it was coming out, everybody around me was like, because at the time I was surrounded by Death Note fans. Uh, it's like people around me were like, I don't think it looks good because of this and that. And I'm like, well, the fucking Shinigami look like Shinigami. The Death Note is in it. There's a guy that is supposed to be L and acts L-ish. They've done their own little take on it. So like at the end of that movie, I was like, all right, was it the best thing ever? No. Did it fucking kill Death Note for me and ruin the whole thing forever? And was it like a fucking affront to the fucking concept of Death Note? No. So like, I would rather them try that than like fucking make the shot for shot remake of like a story from the games where it's exactly the same. Because like it is an adaptation, so it needs to adapt.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna, but I don't really have a lot of thoughts beyond that. And like cast wise, I just like the Anthony Mackie as Aku thing literally just was on my mind because I've seen him in Twisted Metal recently and think that goof ass tone works for Aku Aku because they did it in the games. And I think you can't really fill a whole movie with Crash and him talking at each other, not really to each other, if like Aku is like Crash warped Aku.
All stoic.
Yeah. So like I think he's just a good goofy ass choice. I'm trying to think of other people to play other characters or like other potential Akus or like if I had to do like the studio casting where we pick this very popular guy who's in everything, you already used him as like a fucking reporter in your live action shit post, but like The Rock as Crunch Bandicoot, and like he's in there for like 20 minutes at the end, but like he's in there and like fucking.
The Rock is Crunch. That could work.
See, I don't know any like. I don't know any like B or C tier celebrities really. So like I can't like fill out the side cast.
And you get Bruce Campbell in there somewhere.
Do you? Fucking.
So our animated movies kind of synced up pretty well. We didn't really have a serious live action movie thought. We were just making fun of
I just think
Hollywood, and
I think you just
we
have to
wouldn't do
do
it beat
that a
for
different
beat.
way. I think you'd have to do a live action one a different way, and I just don't really have thoughts on how you would do it.
Yeah, the only thing that I keep thinking of is Kevin Hart and The Rock in the jungle having fun with Crash. But that's gonna wrap it up for our Crash Bandicoot movie ideas and thoughts. And we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great night. Bye.
Ah,